Hi, welcome to White Club Geography. Today we're looking at the changing economic world section and an LIC country, which is Brazil, what we're studying, specifically looking at 6 and 9 mark questions about the topic of the location and importance of the country, both regionally and globally. So here's 2 exam questions we're looking at today. One is evaluate the regional and global importance of the LIC or NEE that you have studied. The second question is your chosen LIC country or NEE country has an important role to play at a global scale. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Those are our 2 questions today. Feel free to pause on this slide if you don't have the information booklet. This gives you all the information that you'll need for the questions, and there's a follow-up one on the next slide too. Here's the second slide, so pause on this if you want to look at some of the information. This is the only thing you'll need to know for the questions today. We're going to go through the assessment objectives just briefly. AO1, AO2, AO3. AO1 is knowing good geography, so stuff, data, geography words, place names, examples, so such as. AO2 is understanding, can you explain it? So in your sentences you're going to have words like this means that, this results in, knock-on effect is, this is due to. AO3 is making a decision, applying your understanding to a context. So words like significant, important, effective and successful. The first question, as we saw, was evaluate. Pause here if you're not sure how to evaluate. It's just give a positive, give a negative, reach a conclusion, and on the right hand side there's a structure strip to help you out. If you're not sure of how to do the various questions and different command words, feel free to use the multi-tool structure. That's this slide here. So this slide here is the multi-tool structure, and you'll see it's almost exactly the same as evaluate. So if you're not sure about, in the blue box on the bottom left, discuss, assess, explain, evaluate, to what extent. To be honest, if you just evaluate, you'll be not far off. And there's a structure strip on the right hand side. So here we've got the question. Evaluate the regional and global importance of the LIC NEE country that you have studied. So evaluate the strengths, the weaknesses. Regional, its importance within the country. Global, its importance worldwide across several countries. Our LIC NEE, well actually NEE country, is Brazil. And it's a 6 mark question, so of course you know those things to include in the blue box there. We're starting to put some structures on our examples now. So there's your question and your paragraph structure there. So the introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and crucially your conclusion. So follow that and you'll be absolutely fine. And in your conclusion, of course, the words significant, important, effective or successful. You choose one which best fits. This is the kind of space you'll have to answer your question. So there's not an awful lot of space. You're talking about maybe 10 lines, so you've got to be pretty concise. That's the mark scheme. As ever, level 1 is basic, level 2 is a clear understanding, level 3 is a detailed understanding. But what does that actually look like? In terms of an answer, here's an answer. I'm going to skip on to the next slide so we can identify the assessment objectives. So there we are, AO1, AO2 and AO3. Those have been picked out for you. Here's the structure of the answer. So the introduction, the national, the regional, the global, and also then the conclusion. So Brazil is located in the continent of South America. It's got both regional and global importance. Brazil covers the largest amount of land in South America and is also the largest member of Mercosur. That's a free trade area group. This is important at a regional scale as it means that otherwise landlocked countries in areas of South America such as Bolivia have access to the ports, the Atlantic ports in Brazil. This is significant as it has a knock-on effect, which means it's got an increased trade with Bolivia and Brazil. However, Brazil is also important on a global scale due to the export of raw materials of iron ore, for example. This is important as it's resulted in Brazil becoming the 8th largest economy in the world. A knock-on effect of this is the recent changes in Brazil leading to transnational corporations or TNCs investing in manufacturing in the country. This is significant as it could also lead to regional scale importance as jobs are created. Overall, Brazil is important at both a regional and a global scale. However, I believe its global scale importance is more significant due to the further potential developments it could lead for the country in the future. So, we've picked out the assessment objectives. Have a look at your own work and pick out your assessment objectives. Our next question is going to be a to what extent question. Now, I don't want to go on either side of the argument here, so you've got a number scale there. So 0 up to 10. I'd like to go maybe 30%, 40%, or if you agree, 60 or 70%. If you're not sure how to do that, have a look at the structure strip there, give a couple of positives to support what you think, and give a negative, just to acknowledge there's another side to the argument, and of course, the conclusion. Of course, use the multi-tool structure. If that is not clear to you, it's effectively evaluated. You'll be not far off with your answer. There's the multi-tool structure. That will fit almost any extended question. Discuss, assess, explain, evaluate, to what extent. Just go with that, you'll be absolutely fine. You won't get full marks, but it will stand you in good stead. So here's the question. Your chosen LIC or any country has an important role to play at a global scale. To what extent do you agree with this statement? That's 9 marks. So read the statement first and annotate it. Our LIC any country is Brazil. The word extent has got to be in your introduction, so to a large extent or to a small extent, maybe even with a percentage to say how much or how little. So the global scale, we're thinking about the factors that link with other countries worldwide. And of course, in the blue box, you know the kind of things there to include. Geographical terms, date, examples, place names. So here's your structure. To a large extent, I agree that, and then name your country. Then you've got paragraph 1, support what you think. Paragraph 2, support what you think. Paragraph 3, that gives the other point of view. And of course, your conclusion. There's the space that you would have to answer this kind of question. So it's about 10 lines, so there's not an awful lot of space. You've got to get straight in there, be concise, get all your points in there in a short period of time. There's the mark scheme. So level 1, basic, level 2, clear, level 3 is detailed. There's the answer. Pause if you just want to see it in black text, but I'm going to move forward in just a moment to show the assessment objectives. So there's the assessment objectives, AO1, AO2, AO3. And here down the left hand side we've got the structure. So this particular person here in this example answer said, I agree with this statement to a large extent, 70%, as Brazil has got a global importance for many reasons, such as the export of raw materials, for example iron ore. These exports globally has meant that Brazil has developed many trade links supporting the country's development. This is significant as it results in Brazil becoming the 8th largest economy in the world. Secondly, Brazil has environmental importance on a global scale due to it being the home of the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon removes 100 billion tons of carbon from the atmosphere each year. This means that Brazil is at the forefront of international pressures to reduce deforestation. However, it could be argued that Brazil is more important on a regional scale due to its accessible ports. This results in landlocked countries, such as Bolivia, having access through Brazil's Atlantic ports. In conclusion, to a large extent, it can be seen that Brazil has global scale importance and is significant in terms of international trade links and exports. You also notice there's a lot of things in this answer that are similar to previous answers, and there's a lot of overlap, and that's absolutely fine. As long as it answers the question, there can be overlap.